Greetings and salutations, my dear Menace players. I'm gonna sit down and go through all available squad leaders so far and talk about their synergy and what I think is a good strategy to apply. Of course, there's a lot of diversity with them. You can use different tactics and approaches with each of them. But from my experience now playing through one on the normal difficulties and now playing a new one on the highest difficulty with permadeath, because Iron Man mode I cannot reload. If I fuck it up, it's over. I encourage you to watch it. It will be linked in the description down below or at the end of this video. And we're going to go through each squad leads. I'm going to talk about them, go into the details about what's special to them, and just an overall information before we dive into them. Important for you when choosing your squad leads, especially when you start, they have their own supply cost to determine and deploy them, and they have a promotion tax, meaning every time they level up and you grant them a level up, they will be costing 15 more supply points. Keep that in mind when you constellation your groups, because you have only a limited amount of supply points to deploy on the mission. So, that being said, let's jump on in. Darby up first. Quick heads up over here, this little man icon means they're infantry, vehicle means they're pilots. So either they're an infantry squad leader or they're a pilot commandeering and vehicle or mech, or who knows what else will come later. They have a startup star assignment, meaning how good they are, but there's also a lot of one-starsies that have a immensely good growth potential, meaning every time they go on missions, their basic attributes will increase, meaning also their stats will increase with time. They're kind of like a low start, but very great burner at the end or mid-section towards the end of your run. Especially if you give them extra growth potential, then even faster. But let's go squad lead by squad leads and their synergy that I think works best with them. Darby here has a special ability. Says Darby's attacks disable enemy special weapons for 1 turn. Meaning, if she hits an enemy target, not her squaddies, the enemy target if that has special weapons, maybe RPGs, flamers, all kinds of special tools, tripods, whatsoever, mortars, they're disabled for that turn. Very powerful tool, very nice to combine it with a high-ranged high caliber sniper rifle, for example, to take out soft targets and disable them from using their tool. If you combine that with her power for concealment, you have yourself an amazing sniper team that shoots from afar, that remains concealed, and makes use of her special abilities. That means you want to go and grab concealment, making her not being seen by the enemy. When you hover over the enemy, you're gonna see a grid highlighted on the map. That is their line of sight, their line of view, so to say. The higher concealment goes versus their line of sight and perception that they have. I think it's shown over here in the stats as well, or if it's not, it's in the game. Never mind, it doesn't show here in this interface. But those stats go vice versa, and the higher concealment, the closer you can go to them without being seen, even if you're shooting. There comes a spiel if you have silenced weapons and not, but experiment, and you can come quite close with her in order to remain concealed, or shoot from afar and remain concealed. Spieling, leading into her follow-up ability called Ambush, where she just does even more damage when she's shooting out of a hidden state. So you want to keep her concealed to make use of this ambush state over and over again with every shot. Beforehand, you might want to take sharpshooter in order to decrease the enemy cover by 50%, so her shots land even better. Also a nice tool is to stand by, so she just waits and let the enemy act first and then shoots at them. If they're, for example, hunkered down in a position, and you know next turn they will probably gonna try to push forward because they see your other squaddies in the open, they want to attack them, and you kind of make use of that to lure them out and then shoot with her into them taking them off guard. Vanguard can also come quite in handy, so you have a higher deployment zone, starting with her already quite at the front. Follow-up could also be a nice scout ability to give her, so she has a higher view and detection range, especially on the highest difficulty. You want some detection range for the buggies, for the bugs, because they're hiding in plain sight sometimes. And then the impossible shot, increasing her weapon range with a minimum of +1 tile, just playing into her whole being concealed, shooting from ambush, staying afar. If you go to remain with her from afar, maybe drop the scout pod. You could maybe increase her potential, so her attributes scale up, so she has more action points towards the campaign. And then, of course, if you want to, you can also grab Commando, where she gets even more accuracy when isolated from friendly units to shoot even better. That's kind of like the synergy go that I went with for concealment, sharpshooter, ambusher, and then the impossible shot, and then some flavor picks like growth potential, waiting for delay, and also take aim is also quite interesting. Especially plus 50% accuracy when toggled. Subsequent attacks will cost 40% AP more until this skill is deactivated. It's nice for one-shot situations where you just take one precise fire. If you go with her full squad team and give the squad team some nice range weapons so they can utilize it completely, or you make her a fire team of her and 2 squaddies, so she can use and be deployed and just have a sniper rifle, and it's just the 3 of them. That's up to you how you combine and synergize with the others. Up next, we have Lim. Lim has a very powerful ability called Aspiring, where all his promotion costs 30% less. That is pretty massive early on. You can quickly form him into a very reliable soldier in the first missions, and have some extra tools to help you with. I technically or normally go with run and gun, meaning that when he moves, his next attack is reduced by 10 AP, playing into hand with the synergy that I call mobile infantry, where you can enter a vehicle and exit the vehicle for just 5 AP. That's very cheap. So he exits the vehicle for 5 AP, plays into the synergy for run and gun, and then shoots with a 30 AP cost instead of 40 or more, and is a nice combo to have. Of course, I use him mostly as a frontliner in the vehicle. Very nice to play together with Extande. We're going to come to him and why. Extande is a nice candidate to play together with frontline infantry as a pilot. Is also the return to serve. It's unique to him, where a grenade that has been thrown at them will be just hauled back to the enemy and kill them, combined with counterattack. If they get shot at, they automatically shoot back. That's pretty neat. And very impressive is Blaze of Glory, that if the unit is suppressed, they just shrug it off. Suppression is gone, and they even get 40 AP on top of that. So quite strong counter after getting shot at. You can also play into stuff like increasing their throwing range with grenades. And of course you want Berserker, so if they kill units in the front, they get extra AP to even keep on firing. You can grab them also the Stubborn buff, so they are harder to suppress, so they need more shots before they go into the suppression state. But overall, that is my go-to direction. If you give them some special weapons that they need to deploy, you definitely want athletics to lower the costs to hunker down and stand up. Up next is Pike. Pike I use just as a fire team with 3 members, mainly using him as a sort of officer. You know, there's HQ officers that are running around from the enemy's guardsmen that buff your friends and buff their friends and units. You can kind of make him do the same. What I grab first is with him the standby action. So if I have a situation where I don't know with whom I should go first or have nothing in line of sight to shoot at, I try to use as many standbys as possible to let the enemies come in before I act. So I have always a response at the ready. and not have acted already, and then they do the response and I have to act upon their act, if that makes sense. So I keep him as a fire team of 3 units to use his special ability, taking command, by gifting 40 AP to any squad or pilot in the rage, either before they take their turn. So I have an, for example, coming back to Extande, an nice synergy is to put Lim into the vehicle of Extande, infantry transporter. That's the first turn. Second turn, I let him do a standby, where we wait. Third turn, I put his points into Extande to make his 100 action points to 140 action points, and then turning him down. Done is the third turn, and in the fourth turn, I let then Extande charge forward into a nice position and deploying the infantry next round wherever I need them. That's kind of like a nice synergy, for example. Then he has also nice things like if units are adjacent to him, accuracy and discipline is higher. So you could, for example, put him next to an MG squad that is stationary and they all shoot better. There's also the nice ability for weapons, squaddy items to cost less. But as I said, I use him normally for a fire team of 3, so this kind of loses the flavor for me. Therefore, I mostly take rally, where you can take a really friendly squad within 10 tiles, reduces suppression by 80, and resets morale. So it's kind of like, hey, get back into the battle skill when they are fleeing or suppressed or hitting the dirt. You can put them back on their feet with that. On top of that, Pike himself never flees. No matter the situation, he stands firm. Depending on the situation, you might want to adjust some strategies and make him a full squad unit, and then use the this is my rifle for lower costs of squad weapons, combined with the firing line, where every time you shoot with squads, the cost of the shoot is minus 10 AP, making him shoot more often. That is kind of like the approach I go. I go for standby, I go for inspiring presence, I go for rally, I go for stalwart, and then I flavor pick depending on situation, depending on squad's overall synergy and situation of the mission. I'm next with Bog. Bog is a nice pilot. Kind of hard to start with because of his not so wonderful accuracy. If you watched the first episode of our hardcore run that ended terribly, yeah, you know what happened. But yeah, it was a bad situation. Bog himself has a cool ability. He repairs his vehicle every turn for 2 AP. Never mind, it has once per mission. It's limited use now to 1. But his recycling part makes using vehicle chases cheaper, meaning vehicles that you bring to the field are cheaper, but they have minus 30 hit points. And how I play Bog is not to give him the infantry transporter to be up in the front line, but rather to give him some sort of heavy ordinance, some tank, some high-cost vehicle with some heavy guns on top that I let him then stand in the back and take precise or ranged shots. Of course, you want his potential to go up because potential is only 2, so I normally also pick growth potential on him to increase his attributes and hopefully get his accuracy even higher and his action points up to 100 as soon as possible. That would be nice. Being immune to EMP attacks, always a nice thing for vehicles to have. You never know when they're sneaking up on you and doing nasty things. Of course, if you go for heavy ordnance like the rocket launcher, barrage, the Katyusha elements, and other ordnance that explode in AoE a lot, then definitely grab fragmentation to increase the damage done. But his strongest part is the overloads, giving him 50 AP, and I mean, it has the downside of him being stunned afterwards, but that boost of SP of AP in that moment, combined with the lucky shot that costs 40 AP. So you're kind of like saving 10 AP because this is giving you 50. This is costing you 40. So you got an extra of 10, putting him up to 100 AP, leading him to maybe a slight movement and 2 shots, or staying stationary and doing 2 shots. Especially if you have him stationary for a longer time, then you can go for steady gun, meaning his accuracy increases by 25%. That is massive. And then you want his lucky shot, because 100% critical chance, 50% damage, 50% armor penetration. If you put a heavy tank if you put back into a heavy tank situation and let him shoot with the long tank barrel on the targets, oh my sweet jeebus, I'm telling you, it's gonna get hit hard. So heavy tank from the enemy coming, lucky shot, heavy tank gone. If he hits good, 1 shot, frontal, boom. Happened, was great. Speaking of pilots, Reva. I love her Kuta screams, and I love roadkilling. Roadkills are so fun and so, in a sense, easy to do. And her doing double damage roadkill is massive. If you watch my Let's Play on normal difficulty, she is taking out hive queens, big creatures, just driving over them. It's hilarious and fun. But you can, of course, play her also like a nice anti-tank soldier, or going for single targets, because every time she kills things, her discipline and accuracy increases, stacks up 5 times. That's her special ability, Revel in Slaughter. Then mixed with Tank Buster, where damage to armor, penetration, and vehicle is increased. Then you want the Grind Down, where armor damage overall is increased as well. Love that. Also, the Boom is a good extra to grab, that it makes an extra light defect on the targets, on the machine that is being hit. Combines with Fury, I mean, where base damage overall is increased by the cost of accuracy. So you want her to be in good positions, and you want her to kill enemies to stack the accuracy up to negate the 15% accuracy loss over here. But it's worth the damage, trust me. And then, of course, Berserker. She's gonna kill often things, so you want her to kill things, get 30 AP on top, kill other things, get... no, it's triggered only once. Not sure if that was before that it triggers more often, and it has been adjusted to trigger only once now. But getting 30 extra is most likely meaning another shot that you can do. And then, of course, Commando. If she's standing alone somewhere as a vehicle, shooting from the distance, the plus 15 accuracy would negate the minus 15 accuracy of Fury, and giving you some nice boom, some nice action. You can, of course, also grab the finisher to do even more damage on creatures that are stunned, disabled, or disrupted. That is up to you. Up next, Carta. She is kind of like a hidden gem, I would say, in terms of the infantry. First of all, her ability, she starts the mission with minus accuracy and discipline. So the first few rounds, she might have a little bit of a harder time, but the stats increase by 5% every turn to a maximum of 8 turns. You can do the maths, how much of a plus of accuracy and discipline we get at the end, but she's getting better with each turn. Normally, I use her also as a frontliner because of her secondary ability, the mobile infantry, so I can send her into a squad vehicle and let her come out. I also do love me some call-out targets, so she can mark targets and giving accuracy on that unit for the rest of the time, giving her an easier time to hit. Also, solid grounding is not bad, where her accuracy increases every time she shoots at the same target by 10. But most and foremost is this here. Heal a wounded element, can heal an allied squad lead. First aid. Very, very handy. Combined, I normally use her with kind of like a support class, meaning I give her scout so she can see and detect better. I give her healing. I give her mobile infantry. I give her share the load, giving everybody an extra special weapon use. That is just increases special weapon use by 1 for each squaddy up to 100%. So that bonus comes quite in handy, pushing the limit there. You can also use her as a fire team, but then I would go for a steady gun, so you can deploy yourself and get that plus 25 accuracy and remain stationary and hit. Combine it up then with full send, meaning every consecutive use of a tripod and LMG, some like special weapon, the cost is lowered by 10. And then, of course, it resets after being triggered. But she also has team spirit, kind of being the charming member of your squad, meaning that allied units can now gain the high spirits morale status by killing enemies and pursuing objectives. High spirits mean plus 5 accuracy and defense, and plus 15 to suppression reduction. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. So if you have her after a mission or some, I don't think it's during the mission, but I think after missions people can get the high spirits buff, like determined and whatnot, the buffs that they get on their picture after the mission is concluded. That's how I approach with her. Scouting, healing, steady gun, full send, and then the team spirit. Up next, Tag, or as I call him, Mr. T. He's fantastic. His ability is get mother effed. Most special weapons can be used without deploying. I love to use him as my grenade-throwing anti-tank Malaka up there in the front line. Being beefy, tanky, and just shredding, ripping, and shooting from every angle that is possible. So I take for him quite early the buff feature, giving every squaddy extra HP, and removing encumbrance effects of heavy armors and weapons. So I'm gonna deck him out with heavy armor, heavy weapons, so that spills nicely into the buff spiel. Then I like to take the demolition experts, because I'm gonna do a lot of explosives and shots and other shenanigans with him. Him being in the front line is also nice to have the line breaker to charge into an enemy, headbutt them, and stun them for a turn. Comes quite in handy, but also quite risky. If your unit gets out of cover, charges towards them to stun them, can turn bad. So rather get buff, extra explosion on structures, quick hands to lower my costs for grenades and whatnot, fragmentations to make more AoE damage, long bomb to throw further, die hard, minus 90% incoming damage when squad leader is hit. You can then also grab full send if you want to have less cost for consecutive special weapon usage like the rocket launcher, but I normally go this path of brawny, explosives, AoE damage, die hard, and then giving some heavy armor that he's withstanding a lot of shots and just can take it in up there in the front line, throwing out explosive left and right while being hammered at. Poor soul. Achilles. Achilles is an interesting character. His piloteering comes mostly in handy if you use him as an frontline shield, a mobile frontline shield with heavy flamer, for example, or a mech with some close-up shredding and gunning, because you want him to take damage. You want him to soak up damage. That increases his APs that he can spend every turn. The lower his HP go. So you want him to get hits. Therefore, you want also in the OCI in your ship to have here the repair bay. So the vehicle gets repaired after every mission, so you can keep on doing that. Otherwise, you might sacrifice a vehicle there that we don't want to. But the lower the HP, the higher the AP. So the lower his HP go, the more stuff you can do with him. Very powerful is Lancer, armor penetration when within 4 tiles. So you want to go up close to them to get that sweet plus 50% armor pen. Very nice against bugs and very nice against Menace, especially early on with him. Although a little bit risky, because Menace ordinance and weaponry is quite anti-vehicle friendly. But is what it is. Then you want also a defense bonus. So if you have far distances where you move him in to be in position to fire, you go in with him. You make use of zigzag to increase his defense bonus for each tile that has been moved. And when the start of next turn happens, you use him first to take a shot close by and get away again to trigger zigzag again. And then that's kind of like the hammer and anvil tactic. You go in, shoot, you get out. You go in, shoot, you get out. And that's kind of like the back and forth situation that you want to do with them. You can also use dash to move even faster. There's a risk, though, that he gains an off-balance, a trigger with a walker. Can lead to uncertain situation, but the chance for it is very low to get off-balance. You can grab Disruptive Fire if you want to stay more in the front line. So the accuracy of the enemy is just lowered, and you just stay up there in the front. But you definitely want Shield Wall to grab and go with it as early as possible. Because no matter the attack, no matter what hits them, he cannot lose more than 33% of his hit points from the single attack. And most big hits are single target hits. Or one-time shots. So you want Shield Wall as fast as possible. And if you play that hammer and anvil tactic, you definitely want the drive-by. Because you move, then you attack, lowering your cost by 10 AP. It's just chef's kiss. So he's used best as a mech pilot. Heavy gun, heavy flamer, some close-ranged ordinance. Go in there, shoot. Next turn, shoot, get out. And you kind of like repeat that back and forth. So, Extande, that I mentioned earlier. People in chat and live chat are not very fond of him because of his religious approach and being all about gods. But he's a very nice shepherd, as one of his abilities is. He is your infantry deliverance vehicle driver. The infantry deliverance. Interesting. You will send a message to Warhorse Studios. Their next game should not be a Kingdom Come Deliverance. It should be Infantry Deliverance and placed in, I don't know, World War II. Extande himself has the Sentry. He himself, as the vehicle, provides a +1 level coverage. So every unit who's using his vehicle as cover will be a +1 on that. Quite in handy. First up, I'm always grabbing with him Shepherd. Gain +10 accuracy for each adjacent allied infantry squad, with a maximum up to 40, meaning left, right, bottom, front. If you position infantry like that, his accuracy goes up to 40. Mixing that up with Fervor, -4 AP movement cost when no medium or heavy weapon is equipped. So you just want your LMG, some light weaponry on him. He is your squad protection vehicle, his mobile protection, and mobile cover, so to say, and transport. That's how I use him. Shepherd, Fervor, so you can drive a lot faster. If you have this here and combine also with Pikes, taking commands, giving them 40 AP, he's getting nearly anywhere in the map. He has quite the distance travel there. Then I definitely like to grab minimize silhouettes, +3 defense bonus for each tile between an actively attacking enemy and the squad lead. And then also grabbing the Divine Intervention that prevents all HP damage from the first attack of each round. Armor can still be damaged. So if he gets a heavy hit, they're in the front line of the first round. Damage just negated. Shepherd, favor. Then it's kind of like a flavor thing here. Minimize silhouettes. Or you could also go for scouts, since you want him in the front line to have a higher view range and detection range for your squaddies. So the squad don't have to take that. And then Divine Intervention. Up next is another pilot, Ivy. She's definitely a tank buster. She is definitely somebody you want to have in, as the picture of her says here, with a heavy barrel, some big, long thing. Oh boy, that sounds wrong. To her abilities. 0 in. Ivy's chance to hit it cannot fall below 30% for any reason. No matter the coverage, no matter where there's hunkered down, no matter what it is, 30% minimum to hit stuff. Fantastic. Fantastic for heavy ordinance. She also has the shoot and scoot. -4 AP cost after shooting a weapon. Lasts until the end of turn. So you can shoot and reposition with her quite nicely. That's what I use it mostly. Sometimes I even skip it and just grab Tank Buster to grab the armor penetration and damage against the vehicle. Then always stand by and waiting for enemies to come closer or maneuver out of an hard to hit situation is great to have. Then you want direct fire. So that you grab as soon as you have abilities to mark targets, items to mark targets, accessories that increases her accuracy and damage on the targets. Comes in clutch. You want your boom. Then when she hits a vehicle, that it gets a +1 light defect, making your survivability and chances to survive a lot higher. And the barrage is also amazing. AP cost reduced by 10 for heavy vehicle weapons, meaning if you have big boom, you can do most likely more than just one if she gets a little bit of grow potential. Because the most big guns are between 50 to 60 AP cost a shot. So if it's a 50 AP shot, her next shot is a 40, so you could do 2 shots without moving. But if she gets a little bit of growth potential push in here, this number can go higher, and then you can even grab heavy ordnance that have 60 AP and get 2 shots out of it. Especially if you mix it up with the full sense special hardware, where the AP costs lower by further 10%. 10 AP. So big anti-tank thing. So we're nearly through. Griffinger. Mr. Lance Corporal Griffinger. Griffinger's special ability is Guerrilla. 20 accuracy, 30% damage when attacking healthy targets. HP over 80%. Meaning, you want him to be your opener. He should be the one who's shooting first in on the new fresh target to make use of this extra accuracy and extra damage. You don't want him to hammer down on targets that have been shot at already. You want him to be the opener or attacking new targets every turn. I use him as a mix of scouts. Scout in terms of like I'm giving him the scout ability with higher view range, mixed with sharpshooter to decrease enemies' cover, mixed with decoy. So he is most likely a frontliner for me, scouting there in the front. And if shit hits the fan, I use decoy. So I lure the targets or the enemy to shoot the decoy target and get out of there. Also, very often I give him some anti-tank unit, anti-tank accessories, mainly because he has the tank buster ability at the end. So for me, it's scouts, sharpshooter, decoy, tank buster, AT weapon on him, some nice squaddy rifles, giving him a full squad units, because that first shot, if all of them go Daka on the enemy and are in a good angle, there's a high chance he's instantly completely annihilating that troop from the first go. You can also, on top of that, go for assassin. If you catch off an isolated target or something like that, bucks very often tend to charge in or fly in. So very nice opener or tank buster if the tank is still full HP, and the gorilla extra 30% damage. Perk pushes in and goes with the tank. Boom, boom. Sorry, my voice is going away. Slowly. Jean. Oh, Jean, our lovely pirate. For her, accessories. So many accessories you can fit on her. You want her to be the jack of all trades. You want with her smoke grenades, flashbangs, EMP grenades, everything that you can throw and put onto her. You take with you. And then some sort of weapon where she can finish off an enemy. Maybe a sniper rifle that shoots twice, so she can finish off soft targets. Because, first of all, supply costs for her squad is minus 50% in equipment. So no matter what you put on her, it's minus 50%. Very fancy. You can put expensive stuff on her. Then you have trinketing. 30% item drop chance when Jean Shy destroys an enemy unit. When she destroys it, I'm not yet sure if her squad is also counted or if her shot is counted with that. So therefore, give her a sniper rifle maybe that has a double shot where there is, just a finishing off shoot to do and go pom, taking off. Item drop chance, gives good loot. She's kind of like your loot booster. Then you want resourceful to get one use accessory use. Then you want bags and belt for another accessory slot. Quick hands to use the accessories by minus 10 AP. And then Pirate's Luck, defensive against first attacks each round, just like a lucky charm to have on her. This is kind of like the approach I go. Trinketing, sniper rifle with double shots, so she gets the finishing attack. Her accessories get a +1. I give her a +1 accessory slot. I give her a clothing with as many accessory slots as possible. Maybe the heavy bag that you can grab that gives her +2 or +3 accessory slots. And then you just can toss out support items or grenades. Mostly support items because I don't want to bring her into the front line to be having to throw offensive grenades. But smokes, flashbangs, all kinds of cover-ups and gadgets and tools on her. Go. Fantastic. Veteroth? I'm probably butchering him. AKA Crocodile Dundee, as I call him. He is your specialized bug hunter. He has a big game hunter perk where he gets accuracy and armor penetration, but applies only to bugs. No vehicles, no structures. Keep that in mind. Only for aliens. You want his Crocodile Dundee reference? This is a knife with the crocodile eating the sword. Melee attack cannot miss. He has a melee attack opportunity. You want him in the front with the bugs. You want the bugs to main target him, to come at him, so he can use out his melee attack, and it packs a punch. Then you want if it bleeds, so every time he just scratches somebody and shoots at them, they get a bleeding debuff, causes 50% max HP health loss per turn for 2 turns after damaging the units. Can only kill 1 enemy element per tick, cannot stack. So you want to, target or scratch as many as possible to make use of it. It bleeds. You can also deploy wire slings that deploys a trap to divert enemies to get out of hot situations. You definitely want assassin. No, he has finisher. Apologies. It's the same symbol, just confused me there. Finisher, meaning he gets accuracy and damage against an enemy that is stunned, disabled, or disrupted. That will happen quite often, especially if you pair him up with, for example, a flashbang and stun the enemy before you start shooting at them. It's a nice combo to do. And last but not least, you want the finishing shot. Up to 50% damage against wounded enemies, scales with missing enemy HP. So a nice combo would be Griffinger doing the startup shooting in the front. So you have these two in the front line. So he starts the shooting, triggering his gorilla perk, doing the extra damage, pushing the HP below 50%, and then you follow up with Mr. Griffinger over here with the finishing shots, getting a plus 50% damage against wounded enemies. Chef's kiss, I'm telling you. Nastrovie tovarish, Mr. Yajov Fedor. Yaj over here is a madman, as I call him. He is your guy that kills fleeing enemies, and when you're on the ground, he kicks you in the face, kind of thing. No mercy, extra accuracy and damage against wavering or fleeing enemies. So if you see a target blinking, that means they're wavering. You want him to fire at that unit once more to get that extra sweet accuracy damage boost. Normally I don't necessarily shoot on fleeing enemies because I want to have some sort of crowd control CC of every target that pops up. So I very often ignore running away enemies unless there's some very important fire team with annoying weaponry like a mortar or something like that, then I don't want to get him away. First up, you want fearsome. Attacks made by this unit have a 10% more impact on the morale. That plays into his no mercy, making them waver, run away, triggering his accuracy and damage increase. Then you want if it bleeds. If he hits them, they get a debuff, a dot of bleeding. So even if they're reduced to a few units and run away, they could die of the bleeding stack on them. Also handy, mobile infantry, if you want to, put him into a vehicle, get him to the front line fast. I always like Counter-Strike, so since he's a frontliner for me, every time he gets shot at, he shoots back at them, triggering if it bleeds, triggering the fearsome, and potentially also his no mercy if they hit the target hard back. Then you want close and personal, meaning the closer the enemy targets are, the higher the accuracy is. So you could, for example, grab some nice shotguns and bring Mr. Yajov quite close and personal if you want to go super crazy with the accuracy boost. Then he has the finisher, where he gets extra damage for stunned enemies, disabled or disrupted enemies. So again, flashbang and then shooting is a nice combo. Then Berserker to get extra EP when he kills units, and that happens quite often. Rarely I grab Commando because I very often use him together with a vehicle, but it's a flavor situation or tactical situation how you play it out. So, we nearly hit the end of here. If you managed to be here until now, please be so kind as to leave a comment down below if it helped you or not. Thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, watch our Let's Plays, helps out a lot, and I would love to do this one day full time. So thanks a lot to you. You're my MVP. You're my most appreciated squad lead. And if you have $1 running around, become a YouTube member, because I managed to lower the prices far as that. So you can support with just $1 a month, not getting any advertisements on anything that you watch here. And also there's a link towards nexus.gg/CoreMakerTV down there. Our Nexus store partnered up with the publisher of this game to get a revenue cuts whenever we purchase Menace. Right now it is, I think, sold out. Could be that there's keys coming in quite soon again. But keep an eye out. There's also plenty of other amazing Hooded Horse games in there that you can grab and support the channel doing so. Love you guys. So, Vampliff, or Vampliff, aka Mr. Vampire, aka Blade. I don't know, he gives me Blade vibes. Or that black guy from Fear of the Walking Dead TV show. Kind of reminds me of that dude as well a little bit. Jacques-Yves Vampliff. I'm terrible, I'm sorry. So, his ability is gain a stack of pressure when attacked. Spend 4 stacks to instantly gain 40 AP. He is also a fantastic unit to use in the front line with heavy equipment. and also to lure enemies in. You want taunt. Increases his threat level for 1 turn, meaning most likely everyone will want to go for him and target him. You grab buff, so you can use heavy weapons and heavy armor without getting encumbered. You grab flamboyant, reducing the cost for armor by 30%. Fantastic thing. And then you could grab critical hits. Attacks have a 25% chance to inflict 50% more damage, or you get full send with special weapons, lowering the cost. But I'd rather ignore the last part over here, so I would go taunt, buff, flamboyant, and then, for example, disdain, where he ignores suppression if somebody of his squaddies dies. From that, shooting gallery, where his accuracy and damage is increased if people are out of cover. If you catch mostly bugs out of cover, very nice. Very, very nice ability to have. And then stubborn on top of that to lower the suppression inflicted onto him. So you want him to be targeted at to make use of partir de rien. Somebody in the comments, please tell me what that means. And I'm sorry to everybody who's speaking French and I'm butchering your language. Again, the extra 60 AP, nicely mixed with full send with a special heavy weapon. You can go full on Daka bombardment with him if this synergies trigger. Oh boy. Last but not least, Mr. Sachin Singh. Das ist meine Kubenita. You want him to be deployed with a full squaddy team. Full units. Because for each squaddy over 5, accuracy and discipline is increased. His accuracy is 64. If you have a squad team of 6, 69. Very nice. If you go further, it's further and further, making him a very accurate fire team. Growth potential is also decent. You can push it further if you want to, so you can push these numbers even higher and faster. Then, you want suppressive fire. You know, full squad team, shooting at a target, you give him a weapon that has high suppression. 150 suppression caused by these squad weapons, meaning you want to shoot the squad to shoot, not your squad lead, not a special weapon, the normal weapons. They go full Daka, suppression high, give him something that shoots automatic, some MP, anything that has a high suppression value in the bar. Just to make sure that we're on the same line. High suppression value, you can see over here suppression 3 on this weapon. No bueno. Not good. Not necessarily good. We have over here suppression 4 with the shotgun, or the LMG has a suppression of 10. Although the MP with 3 is actually not that bad, because these one have, they also have 3. Never mind. The higher the number for suppression, the better it is in this combination. Followed up by, this is my rifle. Supply costs for the squad weapons minus 50. Fantastic. Followed up by jump the grenades. If a grenade comes in, because you will have him probably up front and personal, one of the squatters jumps the grenades, only one squatter dies instead of multiple. Very fancy. Then, firing line, leading together with suppressive fire, meaning duck on the enemy. Duck on the enemy becomes cheaper. More duck on the enemy, more suppression. Everybody on the ground, you come with your units, flank the units, you win. Simple. And then reinforcements. If his units die, if his squaddies die, and he remains alone as the only squad lead of the units, you click reinforcements, troop is full again. Although it pulls from your squadded list up here, right? So it's not just 3 units, it is resources that you will lose from your pool of squaddies. So that's kind of like the synergy over here. One more time, suppressive fire, This is my rifle for cost reduction. Jump the grenades to don't lose more squaddies than one when a grenade comes in, and then firing a line, and then reinforcements to reactivate or to bring in things. He has also, if you want to stand by, so he can wait and let the enemy act first, always a nice flavor on top to have some tactical maneuverability, some waiting time in the game. Quite nice to go. I hope this helped you. I hope it made you understand a little bit of the synergies, a little bit of their most strongest sides. Of course, you can develop and play out the character depending on the weapons you get, depending on the missions you are in, into different strategies and different approaches. You can, of course, demote somebody and take patches away and reskill them if you have the points ready. So it's, in a sense, up to you. I just told you from my experience and my tactics that I placed them on the field in order to spiel with them and play with them. A German comes through. It's late. So thanks a lot for watching again. See you hopefully either on the live streams for Menace right now, because we're mainly Menace playing at the moment, to see if we can beat the game on the highest difficulty with Iron Man mode. So we're still in actually the second attempt, because the very first mission on the first attempt was catastrophic and we died. So we're technically in the second attempt for beating the game on the highest difficulty. If you want to be a squad, go over to episode 1 of our highest difficulty season, or any of the episodes, type in 07 in chat, and the nickname you want to have, or if not, just 07, and I'll grab your YouTube tag, and I'll see you in the battlefield, soldier. Thanks a lot for watching. Hope it helped. And until another video, when we get more squad leads, or onto the live stream, or in the Discord, link down below. Thanks for watching. Bye.